Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say.
You are now rocking to #Originators at Originators Radio.
Black by Contrast by A.T. Many have likened their experiences and struggles to our struggles. And though we hear your struggles, listen to your struggles, and at times empathize with your struggles, just know and understand how deep the well of our struggles run. When I say our, I speak as we. We, the people who are in fact darker than blue. So don't get it misconstrued. I can't stand on this soil and draw a single parallel to the experiences of the African living in America. Wait a minute. Did I say African living in America? African American? Formerly Afro-American? Born in America with ancestral ties to Africa. Is that it? Whichever descriptor given, our experience in this country has been nothing short of an odyssey for the ages. We had no choice in its conquest and founding, its construction, nor the conflict with Britain. We had no protection from persecution and no pity from our persecutors, unprotected by laws and exposed to systemic cruelty the likes of anything before it. And through it all we ever wanted was our dignity and self-respect. Two things that were torn thread by thread from the fabric of our existence from the moment we arrived on these shores. 60 million black bodies gone, dead in the slave trade. African captives in America lost ties to Africa, hogtied in Mississippi, christened a slave. And with the passage of hundreds of years, we bled mightily, fought, fled, hid, freed, learned, marched, and crusaded rightly to the path of freedom, all the while clinging desperately to whatever dignity and self-respect we could salvage from our shattered past. Red, white, and blue barriers were strategically placed to impede our progress and stymie our destinies, but our strides were long and high, and those barriers were reduced to worthless wood. All we ever wanted was the dignity and respect that should be afforded all Americans, regardless of the pigment of their skin. Recognition of a heartbeat and the acknowledgement of a human being in your presence. The value of a human life, our human life, is all many of us ever wanted. From the valley low, we screamed, "We shall overcome," to climbing the steep mountainsides chanting, "Black Lives Matter," working our way to the mountaintop with the spirits of our ancestors guiding our steps and plotting our trajectory. We will overcome. And once the mountaintop is mounted and we get a full panoramic view of God's green earth with all its hills and valleys, towering trees, lush vegetation, flowing waters, and creatures living in their natural habitats, we would know that the struggle wasn't wasted at all. God bless America, because God surely damned us.
What up to all the originals out there? It's your boy D Smith, aka your favorite crud in your eye in the morning.
And it's your man, Big AT from out east. #Originators coming at you one more time here. Black History Month, baby. The month is almost over, so we made sure we had to slap you in the face with another juicy, delicious, great, funky, fresh episode. We're going to talk about some topics that relate predominantly to the black community. But all of our non-black listeners out there, just try to put yourself in our shoes here in this episode and see where we coming from.
What's your favorite show about nothing that leave you feeling nostalgic? It's the Originators, man. What's happening, AT?
We always throw it back to fresh. You know what I'm saying? Keep it funky, fresh. Keep it peaceful. Keep it fun. So without further ado, let's go into our Black History Month episode.
Yeah. Just clap it up, man. Let's clap it up.
All right. We got the coldest and shortest month of the year, but we got something.
We out here. We got 2 months actually. You ain't know. We got Black Music Month in June. Don't even worry about it. We're gonna be there too. We're gonna rep that too. But
our accomplishments in music are pretty titanic, I guess you could say. Pretty big stuff there.
Pretty big stuff. We something like a big deal. Matter of fact, we're gonna talk about some of that today. But let's get in this first topic of the day, man. What we talking about, AT?
Okay, we want to make sure we highlight the Black Panther Party. Some of you old heads out there probably can even remember the Black Panther Party. But then, the past 5 or so, 6 years, I guess it was, Disney and Marvel did Black Panther, and it got kind of out of hand. Everybody's talking about Wakanda, and I'm looking at them like, nah, we was like way before Wakanda.
And if you don't even know about it, we from Zamunda.
They don't come into America.
We from Zamunda over here.
Zamunda.
Before Wakanda.
Yeah. So Hollywood always try to take little stabs at the Africans in America and black people with Zamunda, Wakanda, whatever, But anyway, we're going to make sure we talk about the actual real, true Black Panthers. Their founding members, of course, Bobby Seale, the late Huey Newton. I mean, the real Black Panthers.
Fred Hampton, all right.
Yeah, rest in peace, right.
Who was murdered,
But they had a lot of dealings in the black community at that time, of course.
Yeah.
The party organized community services, and these services were called survival programs. See, this I didn't know.
Kind of like the free lunch programs.
Yeah, exactly. It provided food, clothing, transportation for the black community. They organized a free breakfast program that fed 20,000 children.
And listen here.
Pretty impressive.
What's dope about that is me and AT are kind of products of that free lunch program.
Because we had free lunch back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s, growing up, we used to go to free lunch in the summertime, and you go over there about 11:30 noon, and the whole summer, and you eat lunch, for free. If you lived in the hood, that's if you some of the 80s babies and Gen Xers, they know what we're talking about on that one.
Right. And for some of us, luckily, I had food in my refrigerator growing up, but some people didn't have food in their refrigerator, and that was like the only meals they got that day. So that stuff meant something to us. But they fed 20,000 children each day, as well as free food programs for families and the elderly. Now, this I also didn't know, but I thought this was a pretty interesting fact here. The Black Panther Party also provided sickle cell anemia screening for people in their community using a simple finger stick kit. And they did this due to the government's lack of response when it comes to that kind of thing. Because sickle cell anemia affects
black folks.
Yeah, a lot of people of African origin.
Don't get me wrong, white folks can get it too.
But it affects mainly, right?
Black folks. And I can speak on that.
We had a relative that had sickle cell.
My dad's mom, she passed with sickle cell back, and I never met her, you know what I mean? But my grandmother passed with sickle cell because they didn't have
the technology and stuff,
right? For it, you know what I mean? So, yeah. That's definitely a thing. So shout out to that.
So there wasn't the government didn't provide any funding. So, but unfortunately, the Black Panthers were seen as a threat because they exercised their Second Amendment rights. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen posters of some of these people over the years toting shotguns and rifles and stuff.
Huey Newton got the greatest picture.
Yeah. Oh, epic, absolutely. But they had the right to bear arms.
Hold on before we get to that. I'm going to cut you off, but you got to think about this. All the originals out there, think about this. These men had just fought in the Vietnam War, right? They were war-trained men who went and fought for the country to be free in this country, to be men in this country, came back and was treated worse than
the enemy.
You know what I mean?
in those foreign countries.
See,
that's what happened with a lot of black people back then.
With the problem,
we fought for the country, but we couldn't fight for ourselves here.
But the problem also was America realized that these same men that they train over there had the same combat,
right?
You know what I mean? So
and discipline.
Yeah. So, but my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Bobby Seale. I don't know if Bobby Seale and them guys served in Nam, but I get what you're saying. The gist of those people from that generation actually fought in wars.
Yes, man.
But when they came here,
They couldn't
even defend themselves.
Couldn't fight for their right to be human.
Right. Now, there was a bill that was signed into law by the then governor at that time, Ronald Reagan, and it was called the Mulford Act. And what it did was limit the rights to open carry. And to this day, from what I read, California still has some of the strictest gun laws. And a lot of that stemmed from the Black Panthers, a black group, arming themselves in the whole fear that they got guns. So let's restrict your right to carry firearms.
And you know why I feel a way about that? Because the KKK kind of, but I respect what they say they do, but they don't do what they protect their own. They arm themselves. Every FBI agent in America knows the KKK.
Oh, they have rifles too.
All the time. But they've not been shut down once. And they're allowed to go in front of the government, the state house with guns and talk hate speech. But the Black Panthers stayed in their own neighborhoods and still was.
But it's still the whole thing about black people with guns. You know, I mean, that's
scary thing.
When you're a black person with a gun in America, you're kind of like public enemy number one. That's the thing about it.
That's facts, cuz.
And like said, he signed that into law, and it was in response to the Black Panthers being able to bear arms and defend themselves.
Yeah.
This bill was supported by, guess who else? The NRA, the National Rifle Association, who currently is under fire right now. One of their big wigs is under fire at this moment for improperly spending funds.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine
so right. So the NRA always had their hands in some kind of dirty stuff too. So
business.
Somebody's right now. The guy who runs them up right now I think he actually had to resign at some point because he's embroiled in some kind of controversy about improper spending of money. So
see, that's what I'm saying. See, if you got money, they let you do anything, man. You let you do anything, man.
Now, speaking about money, okay, that's going to go into our next topic. And I like that seamless blend. It's almost like you get a nice tight haircut. You get that fade. Some of us black men, we get that nice tight fade. But speaking about money, some of you guys out there probably never heard of Black Wall Street. And, Black Wall Street, I mean, this was back in the 1920s. This was quite a few years back, but it was actually a very horrible day in American history.
It was 100 years back.
Yeah, Black Wall Street is AKA the Tulsa Race Massacre, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a 2-day-long white supremacist terrorist massacre.
Now, hold on, listen, before we get to that. What y'all got to understand is not just like they just did some bullshit. Now this was black people owning businesses, like black lawyers and doctors and judges, and
we haven't gotten to that yet. But we will. Trust me.
Oh, well, my bad.
Yeah. Let's not go too far ahead. But this is what it is. Okay, it took place between May 31st and June 1st, 1921. Right, but it's when mobs of white residents, some who had been deputized and armed by the city government official, attacked black residents and destroyed homes and businesses in the Greenwood district. Now, holler at me about that, D. Smith.
Now, that
wealth, yeah. We kind of went a little bit ahead of ourselves, but holler at me.
That Greenwood district was if we could put it into perspective, imagine Bexley was all black.
Where's Bexley? Don't forget Bel Air. That's Bel Air.
What I'm saying for us to put it more in perspective for us here
in Ohio, but if you
Bexley, if you look at better yet, Dublin, more like a Dublin. You know what I mean?
I was just looking at it for people outside of Ohio, what they can relate to it outside of Ohio.
Wherever you're at, if you're not in Ohio, outside of Ohio,
maybe Bel Air,
the nicest neighborhood you could think of, where
people who are affluent,
their own businesses. And these were all black people on the whole side of town in Tulsa. They was black owned, and basically what white America did was listen, y'all go over there and y'all stay over there, we'll stay over here, and then we don't have to intermingle, go across the tracks. But what happened was white America soon found out that there was oil on that side of the tracks where these black folks were. So these black folks got rich. Then you started seeing black hotel owners and owning theaters and, like I said, doctors and lawyers and judges. They had their own little community over there. And then white America, or America, whatever you want to call it, decided that these black folks shouldn't have that land. So they literally dropped bombs. Well, first it started with the riots. And then these black folks held their own in Greenwood. And then that's how the riot started. But yeah, finish what you're saying. We'll get back on that.
And this event is considered one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history. the attackers burned and destroyed more than 35 square blocks of a neighborhood. That's what I'm saying. Comparing it to something that somebody, like a neighborhood that somebody, that most people can associate with like wealth. Like I said, Bel Air. I don't know how big Bel Air is.
City, man.
But that's like if you just burnt down Bel Air because they had colored people living in it. It's equivalent to that.
Because Negroes was in that
and was doing their thing.
And they wasn't messing with
nobody. Exactly. And that's the real travesty here. Like they weren't messing with anybody. But like I said, 35 blocks of the neighborhood was destroyed. At the time, it was one of the wealthiest black communities in the United States, and it was known as Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street.
39 lives were lost during this 2-day ordeal, 26 of whom were black and 13 white. Now, as a 2023 Judge Caroline Wall threw out a lawsuit, she threw it out. The lawsuit that the families brought against the city because the families felt like they should have been entitled to some kind of reparations or compensation for their families, being killed so many years ago. And guess what the judge did? She threw it out with prejudice. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our experience.
Welcome to America. Now, listen,
and this was in 2023 this happened. She said, y'all ain't getting nothing.
100 years after that happened. But listen, this is what's crazy.
Y'all ain't getting anything.
And during that time of the riots, like I got a little ahead of myself, but during the time of them riots, they masked like collected black folks and basically gave them a green card, a ban, and you had to have like a white person speak for you to say like whether you could like get your money out or go around the town. Like literally, you had to have a spokesperson, a white spokesperson, to say you could do this. And before that, just a couple of days before that, they were free black people. You see what I'm saying? So understand, if you can look at like when they show these pictures of like Iraq now and it's like bombs dropped on buildings, how Ukraine looks right now. Yeah, this is what Tulsa, Oklahoma looked like in 1921, guys.
Just the devastation of it.
So yeah,
and it was, and like I say, going back, to like what we said just a few minutes ago. These people weren't doing anything. It'd be different if these were people that were like,
working every day life.
Like ripping off the government, ripping off not paying taxes, abducting elderly people. They were doing none of that. These were people that were actually living their lives peacefully. Like the late Dr. Martin Luther King said, America tells us that we need to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps.
Yeah, man.
But these people were actually pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. But the fact that they had something posed as a threat.
That's what's crazy about that. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. That's like I said, if you don't know anything about it,
look it up.
Look it up, because I spoke to people a little bit older than me, and I brought that up, and they looked at me like, I never heard of that. I'm like, well, America had to sweep that under the rug because that was a foul on them. But
that's why we're here. We're here to educate. Speaking
of Dr. King, what's his next topic?
The two dynamics: the legacy of Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King.
What is the legacy? The legacy that they leave, do you think their legacy is still here today?
Of course, King's legacy is always, I think, going to be relevant and around for generations, to actually see and touch and feel, he has a holiday he has a holiday, a nationally observed holiday.
No doubt.
So yeah, King's going to always be relevant. Now, for some of us, also who, love and respect and honor Brother Minister Malcolm X, what's been kind of bothering me about his legacy lately is it seemed like his legacy's been like mainly relegated to social media. When I'm on IG, I see a post with Brother Minister Malcolm X, and that's kind of all I see.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't really see it in society like I did when I was in high school, some decades ago. But when I was in high school, there was this Malcolm X craze that went around, and we all had Malcolm X shirts and book bags and caps. I don't see those optics anymore. I see mainly Malcolm on posts and things like that. But yeah.
And you know what? Like the crazy thing is, I think Dr. King, his legacy, some of what he was talking about did kind of come into fruition. But the whole Malcolm X is a little too militant. So I guess a lot of what Malcolm X was speaking about hasn't came into fruition because, like you said, what we said earlier, just like I said earlier, with that Black Panther thing, what Malcolm X was talking about, it was kind of like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You
go
should
out
be
here,
able to defend yourself. It's not going
you
out
should
here
be able
committing
to-
violence, random acts of violence.
Yeah, but you should be, as
Defending
an
yourself.
American, you should, because that's what America says. You should be able to arm yourself, and at the same time, it's like, are you wrong for that because you are black, or is it? You know what I mean?
America's
Like,
been arming itself for a long time.
So,
but yeah,
yeah.
Malcolm's message, I guess, will rub some people the wrong way because they feel like maybe black people shouldn't be the aggressor or the one who stands up for his or her lives. You know, that we're better suited in submissive types of roles. Which, like, I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with that shit at all because, like, I own firearms. Like, I believe in my black life. You know.
But yeah, and on speaking on that, on some of those specific topics of believing in your black life, the movement of Black Lives Matter, right? Mm-hmm. It started long ago with said song of the Godfather,
James Brown. I'm black and I'm proud.
That was the first original.
That was kind of like an anthem or a banner, I guess.
Yeah, so like before
a slogan. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, there it is. Exactly what it was. A slogan. That's the best word. Yeah, you're right. That's the best way to put that one. It was a slogan, and before Black Lives Matter was a thing.
Yep. And we had, groups like rap groups like, X-Clan, rap groups like Public Enemy and Dead Prez. Those just to name a few. And, they spoke those types of messages. They spoke messages of upliftment and things like that. And being able to be responsible for our own destinies.
Yeah, and the thing, like, if you haven't, like, the originals out there, the youngins, if you ain't hip to, like, the music we just spoke about, X-Clan and Public Enemy, and even I'm pretty sure you heard the James Brown song, but do your Googles, man, go out there and check out those music, because those, for one, we gotta bring those up, because those specific groups, X-Clan, Public Enemy, and Dead Prez, that was their main topics, was like, black upliftment and trying, before the Black Lives Matter was such a, I call it a fad, okay, and pardon me if you feel offended.
You're entitled to your own opinion.
I call it a fad only because my black life has mattered since my black ass understood I was a black man. You see what I'm saying? So don't just tell me a couple years ago my life started mattering. You know what I mean?
It should have mattered all along.
It should have mattered from the jump, because as an American, that's what you say is my constitutional right as a man. Not even being a black man, as a man, it says I should be, or we should be. So now, you see what I'm saying? So my black life mattered before this fad or this quote unquote movement. So we speak on those specific rap groups for that reason, and also we got to tie in the music with the whole show. You feel me? We got to do all that. You know what I mean? So yeah. But that's definitely something to look up and check out, man. Like I said, because and I ain't gonna lie, because me and Cuz used to bug out on X-Clan. That Professor X hit you with the sissy. He hits you with that every song. Like, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green.
Yeah, that was classic.
That was a joy right there.
Yeah. But like I said, we also want to throw some pretty interesting topics in here. This is something that I thought that we here at Originators Radio, baby, we think that you guys should know. These are 5 things about black folks that you probably did not know, okay? So dig some of these, all right? Now, number 1 on that list is the late, great Harry Belafonte, singer, actor, activist, really made his mark in the world. He was actually born in the United States.
I didn't know that.
See, many of us thought he was an island dude because he did the whole song, Dale,
they like
Banana Boat. He was born in New York City.
See, the more you know.
But the more you know, that's really what it's about.
I know. R.I.P. Harry Belafonte.
Right. Number 2.
And his daughter, Sherry Belafonte. Shout out to her.
Well, Sherry's fine. Probably still fine. Number 2 is Ike Turner and his band, the Kings of Rhythm, are often cited as making the first rock and roll recording, Rocket 88.
Now listen to me.
Look it up.
Listen to me.
It's kind of like the blueprint from where rock and roll started.
Say what you will, and this is why I feel disrespected, because when they say Elvis the king of rock, pay some homage, my guy. He might be a king. I'll accept that. But you got Michael Jackson. You got
But even before Elvis, though, you had other black pioneers that were doing it even before.
Turner.
Yes.
So
that's another thing, too, right?
So we had Ike Turner, man.
We had to look at, even though Ike Turner had a pretty pretty colorful past and history.
No doubt.
But his contribution to rock and roll and music, I can't deny it. Him as a man, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. What he stood for.
He gave us anime, goddamn.
Yeah, but he gave us some contributions to the music.
He gave us anime, you understand?
Right. But so that's the whole thing about, some black artists were just kind of just thrown under the bus and just kind of forgotten.
I didn't know that.
Right. Another interesting one is Mark Dean is the co-inventor of the IBM PC and the creator of the gigahertz chip. That revolutionized data processing. That's a pretty big thing. Like many of us have phones, laptops, computers. This guy revolutionized that.
You heard that?
You didn't know that, right?
What's the guy? What's the guy, man? What's the one guy, man? What's the guy, man? IBM guy, the white guy, Steve Jobs. You heard of Steve Jobs, right?
Oh, the late Steve Jobs.
You never heard of Mark Dean? No, see what I'm saying?
No, that was Apple.
That was Apple. Whatever you heard, but IBM Apple used a processor that IBM made. I guarantee.
Yeah, that was
processors
Apple.
was universal. They can work in anything.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, but processor is a chip that works in anything.
I guarantee Steve Jobs used something that Mark Dean created. But go ahead, cuz.
And number 4 is there are currently 62 black members of the U.S. Congress, the most ever.
That's beautiful right there.
So yeah, like we're slowly getting in, politics and Congress and those, branches of the government. Because back in the day, during my parents' time growing up, there was like nil, right? Like how many could you count?
And
they had it like hell. The only few that had it back then had it like hell.
Public Enemy said, "Fear the Black Planet." Here we come.
Okay, now number 5 is Mansa Musa.
Mansa Musa. This
Musa.
guy right here, he's my hero. Mansa Musa. Let me tell you something about this guy. First of all, you ain't never heard about Mansa Musa, you might want to do yourself a favor and look this guy up, because everyone talk about, I want to be the richest man in the world. Well, guess what? He was the richest man in the world. And matter of fact, if you listen to Jay-Z, he got a song, him and Rick Ross. He even said it. Jay-Z said a lot. He said, King, Hova, Mansa, Musa.
I didn't know
he
that.
was talking about. Him and Rick Ross. The song called The Devil Was a Lie. But this man, Mansa Musa,
I didn't know that.
He's African. I'm saying it again. He's an African man.
Yeah.
Black man.
In ancient Africa, right.
Richest man in the world. To this day, no one has got this much money. He made a pilgrimage. Because, he's Muslim, so he did his pilgrimage. Along his way through his pilgrimage, he was just giving away, riches, like gold and diamonds, and this man is in Africa. I'm saying that again because y'all don't understand it. You see commercials.
A lot of people think Africa is just
as a poor country. That country.
Right.
Understand that Africa is the only country in the world that you could literally, if you in the right location, pick a diamond up out of the river. Oh, we ain't talking about that though. But that's only.
It's just the resources, the natural resources of Africa.
But his wealth was estimated to the equivalent today of $400 billion. That's a B, guys. $400 billion with a B.
And this was centuries ago.
He was the ruler of the largest.
$400 billions of dollars centuries ago.
Yeah, he was the ruler of the largest and wealthiest North African country during his reign, from 1312 to 1337 CE.
Mali.
You feel me? In Mali. You feel me? Mali, you understand me?
You don't hear enough people talk about that stuff,
man.
Because a lot of us think, even me, I'm guilty of it. When I was growing up, I thought Africa was a poor continent.
Place.
Many of us did.
Now listen to me. Now,
many of us did.
If you even understand what Africa is, the colors of Africa: red, black, green, yellow. They all mean something. Red for the blood, green for the people. Green for the land, black for the people. The gold is for the riches of the land. That's what that means. That's what that gold is. And you see that? It's the riches of the land.
Yeah, a lot of African flags have a gold or something in it.
That's why they have that gold in there. For the land, that's one of the richest lands.
But here, our education teaches us that everyone walks around with these big starving pot bellies. And
so what we're saying is this: with Mansa Musa, I don't care how much money you try to get, you would never equivalent that much money in your life. You would die first.
There's a lot of money.
So that's all we're saying. Shout out to Mansa Musa.
Right.
But let's get this next topic here, the honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. We're going to talk about the Godfather, the Black Godfather himself, Clarence Avant. Now listen, this guy right here, he did a lot for music, man. And we're talking about before me and AT was born. He was putting up, but he put your boy up. Slide and Family Stone. I think he was recorded with them. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say one song y'all do know, a guy y'all do know. R.I.P. to him, Bill Withers. Ain't No Sunshine When She Gone. Okay, that guy right there, without Clarence Avant, he would not have been a star because Clarence Avant is the reason why he put him in there. And so many other guys. I'm talking about like Usher and Puff Daddy. Like I'm talking about without this guy vouching for you as a black artist, because he made it. Basically, his job was to make that wasn't his job. His mission was to make sure as a black artist you got the same dues as the white artist if you was that good. So just because Frank Sinatra was good, Sammy Davis Jr. should have got the same money. You see what I'm saying?
But the time they was living in, right?
But Clarence Avant came in and made sure that happened. Like, listen,
that there was
so he started his own.
there.
He started his own joints. He started his own record labels, but he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2021. Man,
Right.
He passed last year. R.I.P. to the Godfather, but he's definitely
Somebody that you actually should know. If you appreciate, black music
man.
and
You love
stuff.
black music, man. Check him out because he definitely was the reason why half of your songs you listen to on the radio is why you like them and love them and dance to them. This next one though, we got to get to this next joint about Juneteenth.
Yep.
So we're gonna ask this. Joe Biden just signed into legislation. Juneteenth is a holiday, and I'm not gonna
That was in 2021, but yeah.
But listen, 2021. But listen, I ain't gonna lie, I took it off last year, and I'm gonna take it off this year. Not because I'm gonna tell you why. Nothing against my European coworkers, but I was at work the first year he signed it as a law that it was holiday. I was at work, and a lot of my white coworkers took off, and I came to work, and I'm like, damn, they ain't come to work. The next day they came to work, and I'm like, why don't you come to work yesterday? It was Juneteenth, and I looked at him kind of. See that look you just gave me?
Okay.
You see that look you just gave me? So I felt the way that my black ass was at work, and they took off. Fuck you, I'm taking off because I look at it like this. Nothing, like I said, nothing against
Anybody. We don't represent that kind of stuff here.
This is because we celebrate 4th of July, but if you don't know what Juneteenth is, this is basically
Our 4th of July.
our 4th of July,
Right.
And do you know what I mean? So this is our independence, even though it was gave to us late when Abe Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. It was gave to us late, but still, this is our 4th of July. So yes, I do celebrate it. And I understand what it is. So if you don't understand what it is, look it up. But as black folks, we should celebrate it. Now I'm gonna ask you, AT, do you celebrate it?
Up for almost 25 years. I never had a day off of work until, within the past couple of years or something like that. But my day job started observing it. Okay. But like I said, actually, like I said, I've been celebrating it for almost 20, 25 years or something like that.
Okay.
But like I said, it is, it's our Freedom Day, But my question to all you originals out there too is it still new to some of you guys? Leave it down in the comments. Some of you guys, it's new. Maybe you don't know all the ins and outs about Juneteenth. Maybe you don't understand it. Is it something that you want to celebrate, or is it something you still kind of have your reservations and need to learn more about? Drop a comment down there. I'd like to see what you guys think about that.
And like I said, it's something, if you don't know about it, you should do yourself a favor and check it out, because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm speaking to all my originals, my Negro originals. But I'm saying like this. I'm speaking to everybody for real. But I'm saying specifically, as a Negro in America, you find yourself celebrating 4th of July and Cinco de Mayo, but don't know nothing about Juneteenth. Shame on you. You know what I mean?
We celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I seen some of us do the whole green thing.
And keep it real.
I
felt the way about that when I first found out about Juneteenth back in the day. I found myself when at St. Patrick's Day. I celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But here's the kick in the butt. I found out talking to some of my kin folks. I got about maybe 2 to 3% Irish in me, so I guess I got a reason to get drunk on St. Patrick's Day. So hey, hi Irish people, how my Irish people doing out there? I'm out here. These men got a little bit of Irish in me.
That's a little comedy for you guys.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, little comedy. But speaking of something different,
let's look at the life of. This is pretty interesting. Willie Wild Bill Pickett.
Wild Bill Pickett.
Yep.
He was this guy right here. First of all, let's take a time out to say this right here.
He was a black cowboy.
Yeah, growing up, and no matter where you're in either the hood or even the suburbs, most of us black guys, cowboys aren't something we like. That's like that's what white guys do. You know what I mean? That's how we look at it. But we don't even understand as black people, we had something to do with that too. We've had a hand in a lot of stuff in history they haven't told us about. This guy, Wild Bill Pickett, was a cowhand. I'm gonna say that again so y'all understand what I'm saying. He was a cowhand, but because he was a black guy, he was a cowboy. So originally,
boy was a derogatory term for black people, black men, of course.
So
boy.
So if you was a white guy and you was out there, you know what I'm saying, with the doing the same thing,
you were a cowhand.
Bill Pickett was doing. You was a cowhand, but then my black ass walk up doing the same job. Hey, boy, he's a cowboy. That's my cowhand right there. But this is my cowboy. So. All you cowboys out there.
Know where it started, baby. Know where that name came from.
Shout out to that.
He competed in his first rodeo in 1888.
Yeah, and his first, he is, well, first of all, his first rodeo, 1888. And you know what I mean? This was like the early 20th century. You know what I mean? He joined the Miller Brothers, 101 Ranch in the Wild West show in 1905. Would evolve there over 25 years. Pickett starred in several movies also as the first African-American cowboy or cowhand, or whatever you want to call it.
Movie star, right?
But here's what he's famous for. You ever see them cowboys that be like, not the cowboys, but the
rodeo show.
The bullfighters?
Yeah.
Well, you see some of them guys who grab the bulls by the
horns and they kind of wrestle them down and stuff.
That's called bulldogging.
They wrestle them down, right?
Shout out to Wild Bill. He's the one who came up with that thing. He would take the bull by the horns and kind of
force them down to the ground and kind of jump on their.
First of all, I was gonna say
necks
this.
and stuff like that.
Well, and because he wasn't. Well, I don't want to get him.
Bring him down.
He wasn't completely black. He was black and Mexican, I believe. I'm pretty sure. I read up on him. I ain't gonna tell you nothing I don't fully know, but nonetheless. He was famous for bulldogging these bulls. And I don't know if you know how big a bull is, but this man was only like 5'6", maybe 140 pounds. So a half-ton bull, he can just drop to the ground like it's nothing. So yeah, but he retired in 1916 and continued to work as a cowboy and a showman, but he died after he was kicked by a horse. Ain't that some shit? A horse killed him, but a bull.
You think a bull would just demolish you, right?
In 1971, he was first African American inducted into National Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame. And in '94, a commemorative postage stamp was issued in his honor. So shout out to Wild Bill Pickett out there.
Willie Pickett.
Clap it up for him right there, man. Because the brother, man, he did something that your cow hands didn't even know he was capable of. Your cow.
Listen, a lot of this stuff here, is brought to you proudly by #Originators.
We're dropping some gems, man. We're dropping some gems.
Man.
So, again, happy Black History Month. Oh, yeah, also, I hope y'all had a great Valentine's Day, man. We did surpass that. And also, I just want to say, we talked about him a little bit earlier, man, because we forgot about this. We just passed the anniversary, the passing day of Malcolm X on the 21st, man. So, true that. Malcolm, man.
True that. But like I said, before we get out of here, though, we got one more quick topic we want to make sure we bring up to you guys to educate you guys. Have you guys ever heard of something called the Crown Act? And if not, then, well, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
All right, the Crown Act, this is going on right here. It was a law, believe it or not, that was passed in recent years. And the law, what it does is it protects largely black people here in America. It protects our hair from any kind of racial biases or anything like that, or discrimination. A CROWN is an acronym for creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. So in other words, say you're working at a company that's been applauded and lauded by, Forbes and some of these other magazines, Fortune 500 companies. Say you start working and you got these big, thick, fully woolly dreadlocks, or you got like an afro that looks really large and, kind of out there. A job cannot discriminate against that look, because that's protected under the Crown Act.
Okay.
Like D. Smith here, back when we were younger, had a huge afro. Had he walked in an office, would they be like, that's a little bit too what? It's a little bit too black, a little bit too, we're not really feeling that. The Crown Act protects you from that. There's a kid right now, I think it's in Texas, he's going through that. The school that he belongs to said his locks were too long.
Oh, see?
But the picture I saw of him, the locks looked reasonable. And what happened was it even went to the courts, and the courts threw it out. So you still have these kind of discriminations and biases that go on in regards to black people's hair.
And you know what's crazy about that? Because for so long we've been taught as black people not to even appreciate our hair, because it's like, my hair's nappy, and
like, even say nappy.
I was just watching I forgot what was I watching, man? The Temptations movie. And it was a part of the movie where they went in, and of course every black person did this back in the day.
Where they lay their hair, they straighten their hair and stuff. Yeah, that was an actual thing.
Nappy hair.
Right.
Like, but wait, what? You know what I mean? Like,
it's your hair. It's
why
your
are you ashamed of you?
Right.
You know what I mean? That goes back again to the Black Lives Matter. That's what I'm saying. When we scream Black Lives Matter, you got to understand it's not just because cops are killing us. It's because we are killing us, and because we hate ourselves, because we've been conditioned and taught to hate ourselves and to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I don't look as good as this or that. Or I'm not this or that.
Right,
Instead of saying, you know what? I'm beautiful the way I am. You know what I'm saying?
So the Crown Act is actually, a law that was put to place to protect us from that kind of thing, which is good, which is,
no doubt.
As long as your hair, of course, if you work a job or something and your hair is kind of like over your eyes and you can't see, I can see them saying, okay, you need to do something, cut it, but as far as the natural look, dreads and all of that stuff, afros, braids, twisties,
but listen, you understand.
As long as it's in, I guess, you can see and function with it, it should be no problem.
And that's what I'm about to say. Like, long as it's not obstructing my view of my business.
Right. Or your job or hindering something.
Here's the thing about that, right? Here's the thing about that. Also, you got to understand, a person being a Rastafari, that is their religion to have their dreads.
Exactly.
So if you come in and say you got dreads and I got a job, you will come to my job and I'll hire you.
So your dreads are too long.
That's literally discrimination right there. Like, that's my religion.
Yeah, that's where the Crown Act protects people like that.
Yeah, no doubt. So we gotta know what we getting into. So shout out to that, man, because we definitely gotta know, like, because and this is why this is the thing. Because it's say like my job. You're supposed to have, we kind of deal with foods, you gotta have your hair put back, you know what I mean? So in this instance, it's like you have white guys with long hair and there's a couple of guys who have dreads.
Right.
So if I feel like this, if you're gonna have to tell the black guys that they're dreads, the white guys have to cut their hair too.
Yes.
That's how I look at that.
I see women with, hair down to their ass. Is that too long? I see it all the time.
It's definitely got to be
a give and take kind of thing, an equal kind of, okay, if you can say it to him, you can say it to her. Yeah, exactly. Now, the last thing we want to mention is okay, we talked about our past and stuff. We also added in some things in the present. Now, okay, once again, you can comment. Feel free to leave some comments down.
Comments, man.
At the bottom. But who do you think are the history makers of today? That's something to think about going forward. We are still making strides and progresses in life and in America. Who do you think are the ones that are pushing the needle forward today? Leave some comments. Man. Let us know who you think are.
Yeah, man, definitely leave those comments, man, because I got a couple on my head right now, but I don't want to spoil this. I want y'all listen to this show, man. Leave comments, man. Whether you're on YouTube,
whether it's
Facebook, SoundCloud, man. Leave a comment, man.
Whether it's a rapper, it's an actor, it's
anybody,
somebody who's out here right now doing things to really push, the culture and push us as a people forward.
Definitely, man. But I got a couple on my head right now, but yeah, man, that's Go ahead, all the originals, man. Go ahead and do that, man, because I want to see what y'all talking about, man. If y'all rocking with us, go ahead and leave them comments, man, because I definitely want to see what y'all talking about on that part of it right there.
And that concludes our episode.
Yeah,
Black History episode.
We definitely want to give our shout outs, man, right now to definitely. Oh yeah. Also, can't forget about this. If you didn't catch it, we did an episode with the Corner Pocket, man. Shout out to them, man. So if you ain't checked that, I'll go over to Corner Pocket.
It was a wild unpredictable episode.
So yeah, we had fun with them fellas, man.
Yeah, that was the hardest I laughed in a long time.
Shout out to them, man.
Yeah, shout out to them. Peace to them.
I mean, so definitely shout out to them. Shout out to all the February birthdays and shout out to all the Valentines.
Right.
Hope you had a great Valentine's Day, man. What else? So you want to shout out AT, man?
Just like I said, the history makers, not the history fakers. Let's keep it all love here, man. You know what I mean? We thank you guys for listening. Hashtag Originators. Once again, I'm your man, Big AT from out east. You know what side of town.
Hey, man, it's your boy D Smith, aka your earwax and your right ear. And
your favorite pair of Adidas.
Hey, AT out here with it now. You know what I'm talking about? But y'all have a good one, man. This is the 10th episode, man. So I hope y'all had a good time, man.
Right.
I hope y'all enjoyed the little story AT got, man. Also, shout out to my man Sid for the beat, man. The beats.
Oh, okay, yes.
Also, shout out to D Nice for the beats. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So the beats are here. When y'all listen to the podcast, the beats you hear in the background, those are locally sourced, local supported beats. You know what I mean? Those are my
beat
man
makers, right?
S Supreme and D Nice. So we always have those beats popping. It's always And also any originals. If y'all make beats, y'all want to have something on the show, man, send it through, man. We'll put it on the show. You'll hear it in the background music, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to everybody, man. We love y'all, man. See y'all next time, man. Peace.
Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do. Don't give a fuck about what they say, fuck about what they do.